Hello everyone, Kate from Kate Wilkinson Creative here with you again today to talk about Pinterest. Today I'm sharing with you my secret weapon for making one of your pins go viral. That's it, I'm going to show you one of my best performing blog posts of all time that has had over 7,000 repins and grows almost daily. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can replicate this at home. Now, those who may not know, I also have a DIY and recipe blog called Tell Me Tuesday that I started a few years ago now. And this is the blog post that performs incredibly well. It's called Free Tools for Tracking Your Blog Success. So let's break down the anatomy of this pin and talk about why it does so well. Firstly, tip number one, my graphic here is longer than it is wider. So the size that I use is 800 pixels wide by 1140 pixels high. But if you use Canva, use the default Pinterest template that is the perfect ratio for artwork. A pin that is longer than it is wider is going to get far more interactions. That's more repins and more clicks to your website. Pinterest doesn't restrict the length of a pin, but it does restrict the width. So make sure you're following this ratio. Number two, I use the word free tools for tracking blog success. So I want you to go back to your blog. I want you to look at your archive of this awesome content you've already created, and I want you to brainstorm some ideas of how you too can add a freebie, some kind of email opt-in ideally, to an existing blog post, and I want you to recreate the Pinterest artwork for that and start pinning it to Pinterest. So some ideas that may work for you and your blog post: could you create a discount code for your online store? Could you give your readers a free printable checklist or an organizer, a calendar, a daily planner? What about a recipe book or free templates for Canva or Photoshop? Or perhaps some beautiful printable inspirational quotes that they can put on their walls? What about an ebook or maybe a how-to guide like a how to grow indoor plants or how to create a capsule wardrobe? Maybe it's free stock photography or some other kind of templates, a list of free blog posts. Have a think and get creating. Now, tip number three of how I made this pin go viral: I pinned and repinned it to multiple group boards. Now, make sure you're joining quality group boards, ones that have a really even number of repins. So you don't want to see this big disparity between one repin of one pin and 5,000 for another. So that it should be around the same amount of repins, and they should be on niche. So make sure that this group board, it fits your target demographic, and I want you to repin your pins constantly to these group boards. Now, be respectful, obviously, of the group boards. So maybe once every 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I want you to keep pinning these to group boards, and you're going to see tons of traffic coming from different sources. Tip number four, I kept this blog post's content evergreen. Now, what does that mean? Well, the blog post consists of some great free tools, but over the years since I first published this, some of these tools, they may not have existed anymore, so the company might have shut down, or they're no longer free, so suddenly they've turned to a paid subscription. So in order to keep this content relevant for the user, because I don't want traffic coming to my website and then users thinking, wow, this is so out of date and not relevant to me anymore, I make sure that I keep this content up to date constantly. So I set calendar reminders that every 3 to 6 months I'm reviewing these blog posts that are performing really well and making sure their content is still relevant. And that's called evergreen content. And last but not least, tip number 5, I made it really easy to share this post. I use this fantastic plugin called Social Warfare, which is for WordPress, and it makes it so easy for my users to share this content. It's not hidden at all, where they can jump on and share it to their own platforms. It's right there, right at the top of the page. So there you go. There's my 5 killer tips and tips that I use personally to make your own blog posts go viral. Thanks, guys, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.